Flawless. Looking good. That's the Pepperball TCP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And where's number 8? And number 8. So nice trap. Trap works nicely. It's always good to check these things out every time you get a chance. After any type of you do lubing, cleaning, check it out, run a mag, make sure everything's running flawlessly. Hi everybody, welcome back for another video. The range is not necessarily helping you in terms of your self-defense. Let me elaborate. I've never been a person who's a paintball player or an airsoft player. I've never been like really, I thought that there was a lot, I know that there's value in the muscle memory and the activity and the physical activity, and I think those are all good things. It's a fun sport for people to play. But there are lessons that you can learn, and I was doing some reading recently, and the conversation had to do with moving and shooting. And the reality was, they said from a lot of players that it is far more important to move when you engage an enemy than it is to aim or to shoot. Your first priority is to get on the move. And by doing that, you decrease the ability of the person to hit you. It's common sense, but that's the practical reality. If you, the person in a gunfight who just stands still is most likely to get hit eventually, because people are going to be shooting. It's going to be erratic shooting, but you've got to move. And so I think that I've talked about it before, but if you just practice in the range, and most of us that use firearms, we don't have any other option unless we have land somewhere out in the country where we have the luxury of being able to train or to build a course. But with your less lethals, you have no excuse. You really have no excuse. You can do it in your yard, you can do it in your basement, you can find a way to move around and to shoot. And you need to practice and have that as your norm. Your norm should not be like I just showed you at the beginning of this video. It is so easy to shoot the less lethals. There's no recoil. It is literally just pulling the trigger, and the accuracy is there. The accuracy is great. I think that if you're standing still and shooting, you're sending a message in a video of, oh, it looks like this person's a great shooter. Well, in reality, anyone can shoot one of these paintball launchers that have been modified, air guns. These things are so easy to shoot, and they're accurate, and those are all advantages of the air guns in general. But for training purposes, in reality, you have to realize that that's not helping you. You got to get on the move. You got to be physically ready to do that kind of training. And I do that with my Glock 17 Gen 5. I think that's a really good dry fire training tool for moving and shooting. But as you see here, I was using my TCP. I was shooting Grimberg Joules with a Grimberg barrel and a 12-gram CO2. Very good power. It's just a very smooth device, very consistent. And that's 8 shots from an extended mag. Now I could put a 8-gram CO2 in there, and I could go down to 6 rounds. And I can probably get 4 or 5 pretty good ones. And those first 1 or 2 are going to be very much the same as with the 12-gram. So, and that's a tighter, compact, definitely a more compact launcher than what I've had recently. I'd recently been carrying it with aluminum rounds and a metal barrel. Now I've gone back to the Grimberg barrel. So I've tightened it up a little bit, because I'm thinking about, having it more for EDC and carrying it a little more than I've been doing. I'm trying to get back into that routine. It's very easy to use the pepper spray, but having the TCP somewhere available when you're out and about, I think is a really good move. It's a great option, and it's just not something that I can put on my body, but there are certain times of year where you can put it inside of a big jacket. If you got a big winter jacket, and you got inside pockets in there. You can put it in there. It'll be nice and warm up against your body. The CO2 will stay warm. And I think that's a very good option. Now, the counter to that is during the winter when you do that, whoever you might be dealing with may also have on their big winter jacket, and that extra layer is certainly going to slow down the joules when they hit. You can see how they do on my trap. They hit, it punches in, and then they just gently drop to the floor. It happens every time, very reproducible. It slows them down quite a bit. So if you've got a good bit of padding about like this, it's going to slow them down quite a bit before they eventually fall to the ground. Penetration is not going to happen with something that's hitting at 30-ish joules. It's going to provide a nice punch, but what you really would want to hit would be bare skin, ankles, knees, arms, but those are hard to hit. So those are the issues. But I just want to reiterate the fact that if you want to protect yourself the most, you have to incorporate some sort of tactical response in terms of your self-defense. And only when you're cornered and you have no other option are you going to have to fire from a standing position. But for the most part, you should be, you see a threat and they're coming at you, you have to evade. You have to have some evasion strategy. Now, if it's a firefight between two firearms, statistics show that the person who's moving and running away gets hit less often. And I'm going to be talking about this a lot more coming up. I've got a lot of statistics, and so this is a little bit of an advertisement for a future video. But I'm going through a lot of statistics. There are some really interesting data that you need to know about why it's important for you to consider hits and misses, because just because you have supreme confidence because you can stand in your range or you can shoot into your barrel, and you do this in the calm, climate-controlled environment of your house, and everybody sees that, and oh, these things are so accurate and so easy to shoot. But the reality, and if you look at body cam videos and you look at the real world, it's a whole different scenario. The hit-miss ratio is different. So there's a lot to talk about there, and a lot of facts that I think people just tend to forget, and I do too. I mean, I shoot in my range. I can shoot at my circle, and I can say, oh, look at my grouping. I like this grouping. This is good. Well, all that's telling you is that your device is capable of a very good grouping, and it is accurate, and it's running well, and it's feeding well, and it tells you all of those technical things. I view those as really important, but those are the nerdy aspects of self-defense. Yeah, you can get down and micromanage those facts, and you can say, well, can I make this a little bit better? Or can I squeeze out another joule? Or can I do this or that? That kind of stuff to me is irrelevant. Once you've got your launcher, like I showed you at the beginning, once it's working, it's functional, it's reliable, shift your focus now to practical aspects. How accurate am I going to be after I just ran on the treadmill for 5 minutes? How accurate am I going to be if someone's running at me at full speed? What if I'm running diagonally? There's so many questions that you need to ask. And those questions and those answers are far more important than whether another spring or a new projectile that looks the same, maybe has a gram difference in weight, is going to be a game changer. To me, those are irrelevant. So keep your right perspective, focus on real things that matter. That's the bottom line. Does it really matter? Everybody take care, and see you next time.
Thank you so much.